Many people claim that fallible men cannot write an infallible book. What we mean by that, fallible men, people who make mistakes, people who are sinners, that we are not perfect people. However, the reality is, the truth is, imperfect, fallible people do things perfectly well all the time. I'm sure you've gotten, or you know people who've gotten a 100% test, 100% grade on their test, or an A+, or have written a paper without any typos or any mistakes in it. When we say that we're fallible, what we mean is we won't live our entire life without making mistakes. It doesn't mean that we can't do anything at all without making mistakes. And indeed, we believe that the writers of the Bible accurately communicated to us the words of God, even though they were fallible, as they write about themselves. It's one interesting thing in the Bible. Peter's the one who tells us how he denied Christ. The Bible tells us about the sins of Moses or Paul or any of the David, any of these others. They don't hide these things. They acknowledge their errors, their weaknesses, their failures, their sins. They don't hide them. But also, the Bible is a book and a story of redemption. So we see that fallible people are capable of doing some things perfectly well. The thing that we ought to do is actually read the Bible for ourselves and ask, how could fallible men, weak men, men who acknowledge their own sin, produce such a perfect book? Because as we read the Bible from beginning to end, we discover an amazing piece of literature that speaks with an amazing consistency about the message of God. And as I read it, I've got to say, this is not the writings of mere men. This is the writings of something greater than men. These are the writings that came from God. And so when they tell us that they are speaking for the Lord, when they say, thus saith the Lord, or when they make the claim, as in 1 Peter chapter 1, or 2 Peter chapter 1, that they were holy men, carried along and inspired by the Holy Spirit, I find that easy to believe because I've actually read the Bible and I say, this is no book written by mere men. This has a deeper message, one that comes from God.